last 200 years, our nation and our Army have relied upon their mounted warriors to provide the speed, shock, and firepower we have come to embrace as the combat arm of decision. First on horseback and ultimately on sophisticated mounts of iron, our mounted warriors have continued to be a major factor in winning the battles and enforcing the peace.
Had armor not been there, had armor not led the attacks into Baghdad, we wouldn't be there.
Recent events in Iraq only serve to reinforce this.
The first day that we drove our tanks through our sector as we picked them up, the look on the local population's face, enemy or friendly, didn't matter, was just momentarily, wow, something big is going to happen.
When we showed up in the M1A1, their morale was broken. They had no will to fight.
It had to be just devastating to throw everything they had at an Abrams and see it just keep on coming.
From the initial invasion of Iraq in April of 2003, up through the counterinsurgency and stability and reconstruction operations we conduct today, the Armor and Cavalry Force has led the way in flexibility and adaptiveness.
Scouts and tankers, I think we adapted very well.
We are now, with this day and age and the op-tempo and TTPs that we utilize, the tanker is not necessarily stuck to his tank, where he can actually get on the ground, do the same job as a 19 Delta, whereas the 19 Delta knows how to use the tanks and support. It's no more of the, I'm a tanker, you're a scout, you can do this, I can't. Everything's hand in hand nowadays.
Over here in Garrison, there's always been a rivalry over when we're in Iraq. We're all part of the same team.
As recently as 5 years ago, those in the Armor Force could not have imagined they would conduct the many diverse missions in which they find themselves today. Tankers and cavalrymen are supervising elections, helping to manage utilities, training Iraqi police and military units, all in addition to their more traditional tasks. Despite these unforeseen challenges, the mounted force has risen to the occasion and displayed the characteristics we have come to expect from one of the Army's most flexible and adaptive branches.
Armor soldiers adapt very well to any type of mission, just because they have the ability to think on their feet.
We had to come up with our own TTPs and how to clear bridge sites, how to clear corners, and we did it on the fly.
Every time I went out that gate, I had to mentally prepare myself for a fight.
A lot of guys fire out of fear, where on a tank you don't have that fear because you know you're going to survive whatever contact you're in, and quickly transition with the firepower and maneuverability of the tank to the offense and kill the enemy.
We cannot view today's operations as one-time occurrences. Rather, we must expect to operate in environments like Iraq and Afghanistan for the foreseeable future. Stability and reconstruction operations will become a normal part of all our future missions.
Obviously, we opened the door for the reconstruction to begin.
We allowed and afforded the opportunity for every Iraqi to have money, to have equal opportunity as far as their jobs. It allowed the local governments and police to form as we know it here in the United States. The electricity, the plumbing, we really did a lot of rebuilding.
The younger soldiers, they don't really see the big picture, but when they're on the ground and they look and they're seeing some of the fruits of their labor, that we did this and people are coming up to me and thanking me, that makes them feel real good.
That kind of reception can make the entire day worthwhile. Putting up with the heat, being away from home, having people clap and cheer as we drove by, made it worth it.
The Armor Center and School are at the forefront of efforts to recognize the reality of today's environment. All of our courses have been adapted to encompass the full spectrum of operations to prepare tankers and troopers for the diverse missions they will face. Our initial entry training has undergone a revolution. Most significantly, all training now occurs in a tactical environment. Our new soldiers no longer spend hours on the parade field. Instead, they conduct advanced rifle marksmanship, combatives, and convoy live fires, as well as longer and more frequent field training in all of the courses.
Now with the new places that we're going to in the world, the new changes need to be brought into it, and it'll make a better soldier and a better basis for operations.
The training here is very realistic. If they learn the basics here, they'll be all right in Iraq.
Our leader training in the Armor School has evolved as well. The organization continually updates curriculums to reflect the latest tactics, techniques, and procedures from deployed units. All our courses reflect the complexity of today's operational environments. The 16th Cavalry Regiment has significantly increased reconnaissance training in the Armor Basic Officer Leader Course and the Maneuver Captain's Career Course to reflect the changing nature of the Armor Force. The Armor School continues to lead the way in training and developing adaptive and innovative leaders for today's battlefields. As part of our continuing tradition of innovative combat developments, Fort Knox recently hosted a vehicle demonstration to identify capabilities available in industry today that could improve the lethality, survivability, and mobility of our soldiers in current combat operations. This was among several initiatives from the Armor Center to benefit today's combat warriors. The Tank Urban Survivability Kit and the M1 Canister Round are just two more examples. As we adapt for the environment of today, we must continue to plan for the future. The Unit of Action Maneuver Battle Lab is dedicated to its mission of being the focal point of all efforts to develop the future combat systems brigade combat team. Their efforts will ensure the American Army remains the most powerful army in the world well into tomorrow. The future of the Armor and Cavalry branch is strong. Our mounted warriors will continue to demonstrate they can succeed both in war and the post-conflict environment. The ongoing efforts of the Armor School serve to reinforce the characteristics that have made our tankers and cavalrymen so successful in the past, and will most certainly posture the force for the challenges of the future.
Brothers in arms.
Brothers in arms.
We are one.